My girlfriend claims she searched every vet in the state to find Buster, but he's at a clinic 20 minutes away, and they've never received a call from her. For the past 4 weeks, I've been visiting my autistic brother's support dog there every day. Zane is 7 and has had Buster for 3 years. That dog learned to play hide and seek because it made Zane laugh and knew his meltdowns were coming before we did. The night Buster disappeared, my girlfriend Christy called me in tears. She was crying that the thunderstorm had spooked Buster, and he somehow got through the back gate. By the time Zane and I got home, she already had flyers designed on her laptop. By morning, she was a one-woman search party. She'd created spreadsheets tracking which shelters she'd called, timestamps, and contact names. She joined every lost pet Facebook group within 100 miles and even promised cash rewards. All while Zane kept asking me if Buster ran away because of him and wrote letters to Santa saying he knows it's July, but can he please have Buster back? 3 days after Buster vanished, I couldn't sleep. I decided to check North Point Emergency Veterinary, the emergency vet 20 minutes away. Christy's spreadsheet listed dozens of vets, all marked contacted, but how quickly she'd supposedly reached them all made me want to verify. Buster was at this clinic, already skinnier and looking dangerously infected. He barely wagged his tail when he saw me. He was brought in severely dehydrated, his paws cut from running on concrete. The vet said he looked like he'd been out for days. I paid for his treatment but didn't take him home. He needed multiple surgeries and weeks of rehabilitation to walk again. At first I wanted to tell Christy, but not Zane. The plan was to surprise him with Buster walking through the door, fully healed, tail wagging. But on the drive home, something seriously nagged at me. Our back gate has a 2-step latch mechanism. Zane's occupational therapist specifically recommended it for safety. You have to lift and slide. Buster is trained to never approach gates. Even in terror, his training should hold. Plus, Christy kept changing how long it took her to notice. Sometimes it was 10 minutes, other times 20. The next morning, I put my theory to the test by casually suggesting checking the veterinary clinics again in case Buster showed up today. Christy started touching her neck. No need. I already called every vet in the state today. In the whole state? Whole state. She stared straight at me, clearly nervous. I pretended to believe her. In reality, I started visiting Buster. I'd leave work early sometimes and come home late. I'd help with Buster's physical therapy, watching him slowly get better. Then at home, start planting seeds in Zane's mind. Telling him I talked to Santa and he said he'd seen what he can do. But Christy was getting suspicious. 1 week in, she found a receipt in my jacket. $500 at North Point Emergency Veterinary. She confronted me immediately, claiming I'd gotten a secret pet. No mention of Buster. I panicked and said I'd loaned money to a coworker for their cat. She walked away but clearly didn't buy it. I realized she was keeping an eye out when she found dog hair on my clothes. Not just any fur, but Buster's distinctive pattern. She asked if I'd found Buster with his fake excitement in her voice. And when I said no, I saw relief practically wash over her. Zane had heard and started crying. That week she checked my phone location history and saw I'd been visiting North Point. She actually called them asking about Buster. Luckily, I'd been prepared and told them to say no. Soon, her intensified from angered interest to pure panic. She started demanding, which vets did you check? We need to coordinate our lists. Show me exactly where you've been looking. When I mentioned I'd been checking some places independently, she went white, started calling vets frantically, asking if they had Buster, if anyone had asked about him. Yesterday, I finally brought Buster home. Zane heard the bark from upstairs. He flew down faster than I've ever seen him move. Buster nearly knocked him over, tail wagging so hard his whole body shook, licking Zane's face while Zane sobbed and laughed and made these hiccuping sounds of pure joy. They rolled on the floor together, Buster trying to climb into Zane's lap despite being 70 pounds, and Zane putting his hands in a boxing stance Buster clearly still remembered from the way his paws went into what looked like a stance too. I was filming the moment to remember it forever, but then Buster saw Christy. His happiness vanished. He put his tail between legs and started backing away, whimpering even. Christy's face made me stop recording. Her face wasn't relief, wasn't joy. It was the expression of someone whose worst nightmare just walked through the door. She stood frozen, watching Zane clutch Buster, watching Buster press himself against the wall to maximize distance from her. You found him, she said. Her voice was completely flat. At North Point. Yes, I did. Where you apparently looked every day. Zane looked up, still holding Buster tight. Why is he scared of you? Silence. Buster whimpered again, trying to squeeze behind my legs while keeping his eyes on Christy. You opened the gate, I said to Christy, trying to keep my voice steady, but even Helen Keller would have been able to tell I was angry. And what Christy responded with, it made Zane cry and Buster lunge at her. Full story on channel linked below.